UFC Flyweight contender. How does that sound, Brandon? Flyweight contender, man.
It sounds surreal, man. It's I mean, I guess it's becoming more and more reality because like people keep telling me all this stuff, but it's still a little bit unbelievable to me.
What? How many months has it been since you debuted? You debuted in May, so what is it? 7 months
It'll be,
now?
I think it'll be 6 months or something, right?
Yeah, yeah. Wow, man. How life can change in a matter of 6 months.
Yeah, straight up, man. Exactly. Three fights. I can't expect to even have that many fights by now. So the fact that I have and that life is a little bit different it's great, man.
What about that bank account though? The 100K on top of the money that you earned for fighting. Like, how
Yeah,
is your life
exactly.
different from outside? You quit your job, of course, that makes a huge difference. But outside of that, is it any other factors that have changed?
I mean, nothing's really changed yet because I just been popping off these fights and I just been kind of staying busy with all that stuff. But that being said, is like I have an option. Like if I bonus this fight, I could pay off my house, which is really cool and kind of crazy to like think about. But yeah, but like I have like all these cool little options now because of fighting, and like I don't know if I'm gonna pay off my house, but what I am gonna do for sure is buy another house and just try to rent this out and just like just think about what make the smart decision and not like the in the moment decision and buy a car or something. I know MMA is not forever and fighting's not forever and this money's not going to keep coming, so just trying to make the most of it and the smart decisions while I can. But that'll be right after this fight is when I start making the decision to buy another house or all that stuff, because I don't know, it's been popping off these fights and just getting ready for the next fight, and that's all I really have at the forefront of my mind at the time.
Definitely. Well, I'm glad you're thinking about the future rather than, going out there and
Yeah.
buying yourself you could go out there and buy like a really good BMW or even like a gold chains
Yeah.
and diamonds and all kinds of stuff, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's like options for sure. And like maybe if I like win this next one and then one after that, I'll start thinking like further down the line of like what I should do with the future and like how cool I can look or whatever. But like that being said, is I'm very much like this is fucking like it's so surreal to me, man. And like actually like having like not having to work and stuff is like super surreal to me. That like I don't know, I haven't really like even like had too much time to plot it all out. And I definitely like it's definitely like more on the side of me is like playing it safe constantly, and which is like funny because it's not like how I fight really, but it's how I should start fighting. But playing it safe constantly and like just knowing that like I could get cut after this fight possibly, and just make the most of it, and let's see what I can have saved up, and at the end of the day what I can make out of it.
Where does that come from? Your mentality of I could get cut after this fight. That's like that blows my mind a little bit because you're ranked what, number 6 in the world? Yeah, number
Yeah.
6.
Um Honestly, not reading my contract thoroughly. Most likely, just kidding. Because I'm like, I don't know. I'm sure I'm not gonna get cut this next fight, and that's actually what's really cool about like this next fight is like I took it on short notice. It's kind of a high risk fight for I mean, I guess not really. It's pretty like it's pretty grateful like for me. Like for me, it's pretty awesome. But like I'm about to fight number 1 ranked or number 2 ranked guy in the world, and that being said is like they can't really cut me after that fight, like no matter what happened. So it kind of takes a little bit of stress off my mind too. So but I do have that mentality of like I'm fighting for a job and I'm fighting to get a promotion and a pay raise constantly, and like that's really what I'm thinking when I go out there. Is like I'm not when I go out like yeah like pretty much where I'm gonna go out there. I'm sort of like, all right, well, like time to get some money, time to get a paycheck, and show what I've been working on. Show what I've poured my heart into, and that's how I feel about this.
What about the big explosion in the last couple of weeks on social media, man? I noticed that, the followers have gone up tremendously. Compare it to like before UFC 253. What is the difference for you?
The difference is I can't like reply back to everybody anymore. Like it's just too hard, and like that kind of sucks. Like after the Team Alley fight, it was pretty hard to get back to everybody that like hit me up like right after the fight. But like now I just get like a lot of messages a day, and just I'll try to get to some or whatever. But like it's just too much. So that's a little bit of difference. Is like it's become a little bit like I don't know. It hasn't been as like intimate with fans as like when I was fighting for Alpha, I could reply back to every fan. If you were my fan of me, I was following you right back. Like I was super stoked on it. So like now it's just hard, and like I don't know. It's just like I don't know. It's cool. You know what's weird though is like so I went into the grocery store. This is like a couple of weeks ago. So I went to the grocery store and so some dude like I don't know. I wasn't in the best neighborhood, let's say. And like some dude kind of like looked me up and down, and then like walked past me, and kind of gave me like I thought it was like a mean mug, and I'm like, all right, cool. And then I'm down this aisle like picking out whatever, and I see him looking down the aisle and like look at me, and then keep walking by, and I'm like, all right, like this fucking dude following. So as soon as I go check out, this dude pulls up to the side, and he comes up and goes, hey, can I get an autograph? And he had like a pen and a paper. He goes, you're Brandon, right? And I'm like, this is the craziest shit. I was like, I thought I was gonna have to fight you. Like I didn't tell him that, but like it was going through my head, you know. And like I'm wearing a mask, and like I don't have anything like I don't know, like maybe I had like my Reebok sweats on or something, but like nothing that would like I would ever assume anybody recognized who I was. So that was like the first time that's ever happened. And like some dude recognized me and like wanted an autograph and all that. And I thought I was gonna have to fight for my life. So it's kind of funny.
Well deserved, man. Well deserved, man. Your performances, and plus the guy knew you with the mask on. That's a fan. That's a real fan.
Yeah. That's exactly. That's how I felt too. Like I had a mask on, and because I'm wearing any like my UFC stuff, I wasn't like decked out in like UFC. I'm like, damn, how'd this guy recognize me? You know, like it was like I was dressed a little bit more incognito. You know, so. Let's
talk about your 2 fights, man. You have wins over top 10 ranked opponents, both finishes. Both times you went in there as the underdog, and I feel like not as many people should be talking about your resume. They're talking about Khamzat, man. It's like Khamzat, yes, he's doing really well and he's getting this hype, you know, but he hasn't beat 2 top 10 guys and finished 2 top 10 guys, right? He's beat just like it kind of sucks to say, but mid-level guys, right? So do you feel like you have a stronger case for like having that status?
And I would not say so, because Khamzat is like has he even got punched in the UFC yet? Like that guy's a beast. So as much I would I agree, like in the sense of like I think that like I don't know, I fought like the more like accomplished opponents and the guys who have more of a name and all that stuff. Is that like this guy went from being unknown, and like think about that, he's making a name off of these like no name fighters. You know what I'm saying? He has a huge following, and like he blew up in like comparison, and it's because what he's doing, man. He's smashing these guys, he's smishing these guys or whatever it is. But like he's not getting punched, man. He's not taking any damage, and like I said, man, that's fucking what an accomplishment that is, man, to have 3 fights and probably not get punched in any of them. Like, Jesus Christ, man. I wish I could say that. Like, that'd be the greatest thing ever. Like, 0 damage taken at all in any of my fights. So, unfortunately for me, Tim Elliott fucked up the copy strike record on me when he, like, was ground and pounding. He was, like, smacking the shit out of me a bunch and, like, kind of, like, popping off shots. So, my copy strike record doesn't look too good compared to Khamzat's.
Well, but you got finishes, and, you know, I look at the resume, and it's like you and him are pretty much neck and neck. If you get this win over Brandon Moreno, it's like there is no argument, man. You beat this number 2 in the world, and if you finish him, it's like what's the next logical step? The title.
Yeah, agreed. I think that if I go beat Brandon Moreno, it's gonna make a huge statement, and not only for like just of like what is it, like the quarantine brought on, so people brought on to the UFC by the quarantine. Like, not only would that make a case for that, it's unfortunate for me that Khamzat is in that little quarantine division because he's just out showing me right now. But that being said, is like I think that it would just take that for sure, because I'd be fighting the number 1 contender, beating the number 1 contender, and possibly just getting like a title shot right after that. Who knows, man? Who really knows what comes next with that? But yeah, if I go out there and put on a performance, I think that I kind of take that away from him, which is crazy.
Is that a thing? The quarantine division? That's the first I've heard of it.
Yeah, no, I may be making something up, but I got like tagged in like it was like saying like the guys that got brought in like during the quarantine or the pandemic, and they were saying like the guys that like the stars that were getting brought in, and I was like I was one of them, but Khamzat of course is one of them too. So just what do you think of like the guys that like accomplished that? Like who's the top out of all those? He's obviously leading the pack for sure, but if I beat Brandon Moreno, I think I take the cake on that for sure. So who knows?
Definitely, man. Definitely pandemic division, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
it's all good.
I'm just making it up.
Yeah, man, you can start something new, man. You get the commentary saying it too. Let's talk about the upcoming fight, man. Cody Garbrandt, he gets pulled. Alex Perez replaces him. You slide in against Moreno. It's such a wild sequence of events, man, because you just have fought. Take me through the whole process of getting that fight.
Me? Oh, it was just I've been telling like just pure luck, just right place, right time. I was finessing my way right into that fight, and I got lucky that way. So we were chilling I was on Fight Island with my manager, and my manager manages Brandon Moreno and Alex Perez also, and he's getting all this news from like the side, and I'm not trying to eavesdrop, but like I could tell he's super excited, which he was excited because one of his guys just got a title shot, and he's figuring all this out, and I see him like FaceTime Alex Perez, tell him the news, all this stuff, and after like the dust settles for a little bit, I was like, so does that mean Brandon Moreno needs an opponent, or like how does that work? And he's like, you want me to throw your name in that? And he's like, yeah, you want to throw your name in the bucket for that fight? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And like obviously McManer's on Fight Island too, so I got to run into him and just finesse my way into a fight a little bit. So yeah, it was pretty much within like less than like 24 hours or less than like 2 days where I already knew like between my fight with Kyle Car-France that I was going to fight Brandon Moreno.
Did you slide up to Mick yourself and be like, Mick, I'm here, man. I know
Right.
you're considering me. Come on, let's get that pen to paper.
I let my manager do the finessing,
Okay.
but I was definitely grateful afterwards, man. When I saw him, I was like, bro, this is the greatest thing ever, like, so, yeah, man, it's crazy, man. It's crazy to think of like last year I was fighting for the LFA belt, like exactly like on the fight date. So like I went from fighting for the LFA belt for like a year ago to be fighting for like number one contender to possibly fighting for a UFC title,
Man, wild ride. Is there a side of you that feels kind of, I don't know, sorry for Moreno because he got passed up for the title? He is the number 2 guy in the division.
Yeah. So this is actually like a couple of things that I don't think the UFC actually makes the rankings. So I don't know who does the rankings exactly, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they come up with all that, but I feel bad for sure, man. And I feel bad in the sense of like of what my job is too, but at the same time, so think about this. This is pure bitterness too. I should like shut up and like, but like, so I was going to fight for like, I was top ranked in LFA and the title shot was coming up, and Brandon Moreno got cut from the UFC and then snuck in and stole my LFA title shot, man. So, this is like a kind of a shot for me to get revenge a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Which is like fucked up because like I don't want to ruin the dude's life, but like I'm trying to make my life better. He's been in the UFC. He has a name, all that stuff. So I don't know. It's kind of ironic to me, and it's like I don't necessarily like I feel bad, but I feel like someone else would probably feel worse,
Yeah, a little backstory to the matchup, man. It goes back in history a little bit.
Yeah, right. And
Yeah.
like I said, I felt like I was gonna fight for the LFA title next, and he got cut from the UFC, and he has a great manager, obviously, and he got in there. So yeah, I was a little bitter about that. So I was bitter about that. Like, I always felt like I would have been the UFC a while ago if it wasn't for Brandon Moreno sneaking in.
Well, you're facing him now. What are your thoughts on the matchup now?
I love the matchup, man. The matchup's great. The matchup's great all around. The matchup's great because it's a good opportunity for me to earn like $50,000. Brandon Moreno's going to go out there and he's going to put himself out there, man. He's going to leave openings and he's going to take risks and all that stuff, which is going to lead openings for me to capitalize on. And I love that. I think I haven't beat everywhere except for maybe the wrestling department. I think he's probably the stronger opponent and a better wrestler than me. But that being said, I think I haven't beat everywhere. I think technically is where I should beat him. Is I should fight him super technical, and I think that would be in my benefit to go out there and just try to pick him apart the whole entire time and just beat him up and pick him apart there. But that being said, I think if it comes down to a brawl, I have the quicker hands, the longer reach. I think he has good kicks. I think I just snap my kicks off better, harder, faster, all that stuff. But I don't know. We're all going to find out, man. And that's the beautiful part about this fight. So, like I said, I think I haven't beat everywhere. I think I'm slicker on the ground. But that being said, he's a beast, and I know who I have in front of me. I have a guy who's going to take chances, who wants it really bad, man. He obviously wants that title shot, and he had something almost taken away from him too, man. And I get having that extra fire because of all that, man. So I'm prepared to fight an amazing Brandon Moreno, and I'm ready to fight Brandon Moreno. Period. Who's just a great opponent, who's just brings the fire, and has that heart, and he's willing to just dig deep and put himself out there and take risk and just leave a firefight if he has to, man. And I love that fact about him, man. I love that about him as a fighter, and I love that about myself as a fighter too, because it's going to be a great fight for sure.
Yeah, two things stand out about you from your first two fights in the UFC, and I know you've been doing it for a while, is that you're tough, and number two, you're very creative. And I feel like that combination has allowed you to beat these high-level guys. Do you think that's kind of what separates you a little bit?
Yeah, man. I think for sure, man, is I do a lot of out of the box stuff. I break a lot of patterns, and I feel like as far as like Kai France was probably the best example of like someone who just has a very typical kickboxing style, you know. And I knew against a guy like that, and a guy like even like Brandon Moreno, who has like a little bit of like more of a brawler mentality than that kickboxing technical style, let's say. But he's not going to throw anything crazy spinning, like as in comparison to like what I do, you know. And he's not going to probably like fly into knees or do any of that crazy like hop kicks or anything like that. And I think that's a creative style to me, but I think it's just also just like it leaves that like no fear of being taken. Like I don't care about the takedowns. There's no consequences to takedowns for me. So like some of these guys, if they do throw a jumping knee, they're going to end up on their back, and they can't. That's the fight ender right there, you know. Like if some of these guys get put on their back, it's over for them. Or if I get put on my back, I might even be at a better advantage than on the feet. I don't really care, you know. So it gives me that advantage to be free flowing and all that stuff, and be creative in there and all that stuff. Because I'm like, if they take me down, it might be a better case scenario for me. I don't even really know, you know. I don't necessarily think that against Brandon Moreno. If he takes me down, I'll probably fight more to get up than lay on my back like I did with Kai France, you know. Or so I'd have more of that get up mentality, I think. But that being said, I feel like I have a little bit of a style where I could be free, you know, and having a good ground game is probably the basis behind that.
You know, Moreno in his first run with the UFC, he was finishing guys, but this time, his second run, he's gone to decision every single fight. Do you feel like, you know, that aspect of him being on his second run, it makes him play safe?
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily think he plays it that safe, honestly, but I mean, I don't know, man. I think just different times in the UFC, different matchups, and all that stuff kind of create these different fights. Because who was he finished? He finished Luis Smoka, right, in the UFC before. I can't remember who else he was finishing, but I don't know. He's gonna either have to knock out Kai France to finish him, and like Kai France is tough, but like Kai France has good takedown defense, and he's not even gonna fuck around on the ground. So that's not gonna be an option for him to. It takes away that like that subbing position. And then who else did he fight? Formiga. Formiga has a good ground game. I don't necessarily know why he didn't get the finish in that one, but I don't know. Yeah, maybe a little bit, and maybe just being like mature. He wants to take a little bit more time to get in there. I know he's had 5-round fights and stuff, and sometimes that causes you to be a little bit slower on the draw, you know. So there could be a couple of things playing into it, but I'm sure he's going to come out guns a-blazing at me, trying to finish me the whole entire time. So
him being passed up for the title shot could motivate him a little bit more, right?
That's
to come out.
Man. I'm motivated from this fight, from me getting passed up for a title shot a year ago in a whole different promotion, man. Like I can imagine how he feels. Like
that's gold right there, man. Now the big question is, how do you see yourself defeating Moreno at 255?
So I thought the same way about Kai France and Tim Elliott. Actually, is just that I didn't necessarily don't see them as like opponents that are easy to finish, you know. And but I just see persistence. I see me picking him apart the whole entire time. I see me just beat him up on the feet a little bit, and then him taking risks. And maybe if I can get a finish, it's going to be off him taking a huge risk, you know. And that's either be on a takedown, a reckless takedown, or a big shot that, you know, that I'm hopefully going to try to make him miss. But as far as finishing, man, I have no predictions. I don't know how it could end up. This like my fighting style is a little bit all over the place, and so is his. So there's multiple places for us to kind of finish each other, you know. So not like any set prediction at all.
Most fighters, they take some time to feel at home in the octagon. Did you feel like in that last fight you felt the most comfortable, or are you still getting your footing inside the cage?
Yeah, I'm definitely starting to feel really comfortable, man. And it's kind of crazy, like how comfortable I feel in like fighting, and like a little bit like, especially like last fight, it's like how there's no pressure really. Like I wasn't necessarily afraid I was gonna get cut from the UFC. I wasn't if I lost that fight, there wasn't that many consequences to the action because I knew everybody was kind of expecting me to lose the fight. And but I don't know, man. It's weird because I feel like it was just like the pandemic. Fighting during the pandemic is just like practice, man. It's weird. It's too calming. My corner, I can hear him too clearly. It's just all like it's just like it's just practice with like lighter gloves and I guess like more consequences and bigger lights, But that being said, is like there really is no difference in a sense because I don't know, there's like 15 people there. There's like literally nobody there. There's no like my practices are way louder, so it's just funny. It's different.
The big fight after you is the title fight between Figueiredo and Perez. What is your breakdown of that fight and how do you predict, who do you predict to come out on top?
I'm rooting for Alex Perez. I don't know, man. I think Alex Perez is a strong kid. I think he could probably like keep good control over Davis and Figueiredo or whatever. But I don't know, man. That fight can play out a million different ways. I'm actually excited to see how they match up with each other and what happens in that because I don't really have any prediction for that fight, man. It's gonna be exciting and. Like I said, I'll be interesting to see what they both have for each other, So it's gonna be interesting for me, and like I'll definitely be obviously paying close attention to that fight for sure. But I'm very interested to see how that fight plays out and who takes advantages where and all that stuff.
Both guys have knockout power, so
Yeah, both of them are strong as fuck for flyweights.
Yeah, exactly. So I think people are looking for a knockout in that fight. I hope there is one, because it just makes the division more exciting and it's a title fight.
It draws attention for my fight right afterwards.
Yeah. No, all right, man. November 21st, UFC 255. Back-to-back pay-per-views for you, man, on the main card. That's huge. And you're facing the number 2 guy, Brandon. Always good catching up with you, man. All the best. And hopefully beginning of next year, you have that big fight, man. That's gonna be crazy. In less than a year, man. You debuted in May. That's insane.
That'd be wild. Yeah, that would be really wild. So I definitely got to get through this one and then see what happens, man. Try to make a statement and all that, man. But I appreciate your time, man. Thank you for everything.
Take a move in the ring. You can hit me with a word you